All right, people, so why don't we let some people in? It is 7 o'clock after all, so I, at the moment, will be in charge of letting people in, because I think that's kind of what's happening. Also, Rick, if you want to let people in, please do, but welcome, everybody. Welcome to Talkaoke, a pop-up talk show. We've got our first online people joining. We've got Ryan. If that's how I say your name, if I'm not saying your name correctly, please correct me. I'd love to know how to say your name. We also have Dele. Dele, welcome.
Hello, Margot. Hello, how are you?
How are you doing? Very nice to see you. Why don't you give us a quick sound check, Dele, just to see whether we can hear you?
Can you hear me, Margot? Can you hear me?
Hello,
My name is Dele.
No, Mikey, we can't hear Dele. We can't hear the online crew. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Margot, loud and clear.
Yes, but I can't hear you. Give me 1 second and I will get a sound check from you. How about now? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, Margot, loud and clear. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
Oh, hooray!
Success all around. So we've got Dele, we've got Rayhan, is that how I say your name? How do I say your name?
Yeah, Rayhan.
Rayhan, welcome. I'm Margot, and as you can see, this is Talkaoke. We're kicking off. It's a pop-up talk show happening every month here on Aberfeldy Street. There's a man walking past. Do you want to join us? We're just doing names right now. Okay, well, but this is the beginning, so why don't you help us kicking it off? What's your name, by the way? Just speak to the microphone.
My name is Leon.
We've got Leon over here. What's your name?
It's Rais.
It's Rais, okay. And what are your names?
Jason.
Jason?
What?
Bob, great name. Johnny.
Dennis.
And Dennis, and we've got Sass over there, and we've got Laura over there. I know her name as it happens, and we've got Lewis over there. The moving camera is Lewis, and we've got Dele online, and we've got Ray's today, and there's Michael over there. And also, I should mention somebody you cannot see, and that's Rick. He's backstage, so maybe you'll see him, maybe you won't, but he is also part of the team. So the way this works, for anybody who's new to Talkaoke, this is a pop-up talk show. And the conversations are up to you, whatever you guys think we should be talking about. I'm just going to be merely spinning around on the swivelly chair, just kind of making sure the conversation is flowing. But right now, at this stage, we don't have any subjects on the table. So, and I should also say, we are going live on Facebook Live, and we are also on Clubhouse. And you will get all the joining instructions if you go onto our social media. But in the meantime, that's where we're at. We need a subject to kick us off with. Leon, I felt like you had a subject, maybe. You don't have to.
How about we talk about the weather?
The weather? We've got weather. What is it about the weather that kind of particularly, gets you? We also have sound effects.
Listen, I've just had the sun has brought the people out today and given some feel good.
Hello.
But everyone's smiling. Look, I think it's because of the
Right.
weather stuff.
So I think you're talking about this kind of like direct link between the sunny weather and people's happiness. I'm going to take it as far as that.
I think we exist in a new world where people are now more weather dependent. So I think you'll see, like for businesses, for example, will be a lot busier on. I mean, generally they are on hotter days, but lockdown, I think, has made people want to stay at home more, so they need a lot more to bring them outside. So.
Let's talk about Fortnite.
So, weather, we're talking about weather, that it's
I am
actually
going to have to
really
leave you guys
important.
now.
Okay, is that your final and initial
I've
thoughts
got
all
to
at
go collect
once?
my son, that's why I'm
Do you know what, that's fair enough.
dad.
That is fair enough, I take that. Thank you,
Bye.
Leon. See you later. So, Leon, welcome. This is a pop-up talk show. If you don't know, you're welcome to join. So at the moment, we're kicking off with a really heavy subject of weather and weather. Louis, oh, hello, Lewis.
Hello.
Lewis is here, yes.
Yes, whether the weather is good.
Whether the weather is good. Leon, who just been and gone to collect his son, and I'm glad that he is doing that. He suggested that we are now more weather dependent. Are you people around the table, are you weather dependent? Is the weather something that brings you out more, or are you kind of more sitting at home, doesn't matter? Is the weather kind of helping you with keeping happy? Are people generally happy now, or do we need these external kind of factors? And meanwhile, I will just say, whilst you ponder all of these things, we've got a new person joining, and that's Lucas. Hello, Lucas. You even get
Hello.
Hey, Lucas. How you doing?
Good, thanks. You?
Good, good. There's not much to actually bring you up to speed with.
It'll be very helpful.
Exactly. Pop your camera on. It's
It might be
already off.
inappropriate.
Pop it on, I think is what I'm trying to say. And I will go to speak of you. Hello, Lucas. Welcome. Long time no see. I will bring you up to speed. So I'm not going to be letting people in now. That's out of my hands. Wonderful. So where were we? So we've got the weather. We've got people joining online as well. How are people feeling? Are people generally happy with the weather, or they're not happy?
Yeah.
The weather's been
Yeah, Margot.
Okay, I'm going to go to Dele.
Margot.
Yes.
Margot, when the weather is good, we want to get a cup of coffee, sit in the park and read a book and just enjoy the sunshine. When the weather is horrible and miserable, we just don't want to go out. And when we're out and about, we feel very miserable and very grumpy. So I'm very happy that the weather is good when it's good, but when it's bad, it is unbearable, totally unbearable. But we do need some more sunny weather, especially at this time in our life where the lockdown is being fixed. So we need some more sunshine, please, God Almighty. Give us some more sunshine.
We
very much better.
Thank you, Dele. When weather is good, it's really good. You can take your book into the park. But when the weather is bad, is the number of books being read suffering? Is it soaring? Is there less books out there? I mean, do you read books? Yes.
I read books.
Lewis, tell us about that. Are they about the weather?
No, none of them are about the weather.
Right. What kind of books do you read?
It is. You can't go and sit. Deli was saying you can't go into a park and read a book, but then you could stay at home by the fire and read a book.
Right.
So in the winter, maybe you read more books.
Okay. So maybe hot weather.
That is a
bit of a
close-up.
Yes, a mega
That
close-up.
is an extreme close-up.
I mean, I'm glad the close-up is a little bit blurred. That really pleases me. You don't want to see my paws. No, you can see my paws now as well. So reading. I mean, how do people spend time? I mean, do people read books these days? Of course you can. Is it Jason? Jason, tell us about what are you going to tell us about?
Fortnite.
Fortnite. Okay, is this what is Fortnite? Because I don't know if people online.
This season is dead. There's no snipers, so you can't do trick shots, and you can't even watch any montages. So I'm really sad. These little kids always talk about Fortnite.
Okay.
The Dark Knight is gone. We were depressed.
Right, so Fortnite is not as good as it once used to be. I mean, do people kind of agree with this? Do we know what
Around
Fortnite
25
is?
I agree. Stop the game.
You agree? Okay, thank you, Jason.
People are now on Warzone.
Right, what are you saying?
People are now on Warzone getting killed.
Okay, so people...
A game.
Right, so not in real life.
Oh, obviously not.
Okay, so there are no wars out in the world right now.
Yes, there is.
Palestine.
Palestine, free.
Okay, Palestine.
Free Palestine.
Free Palestine is
Free Palestine.
one of the subjects
Free
on
Palestine.
the table. Okay, so what is it about Palestine that is like the most important?
The Jews are killing
Palestinian.
people.
Okay.
Is it the Jews or is it the Israeli government?
The Israeli government
And the
aka
Jews.
Okay, so is it Jews? Is it the Israeli government?
Both.
What is happening? What is happening in Palestine? We're talking about computer games. We're talking about a Fortnite. I'm assuming the Fortnite is a
Fortnite
computer
and
game.
Palestine war.
Okay. Would a game about Palestine right now be popular with people, do you think?
What was the question?
The thing about that is that it would be really, really hard because as a Palestinian, you've got very little weapons and the Israeli government's got all the weapons.
All they
So it'd
got
be a
is
really
baseball
tough
bats.
game.
Palestine got all the countries though. Yeah.
Okay, so it would be
Such
hard.
as Turkey.
So, guys, just so that I explain, when somebody is speaking, maybe we listen and then you can
Sure.
speak when
Okay.
is that cool?
Yeah.
So just 1 second. So what Mikey was saying, and also just remember, we also have the audience online. So we've got Rayan, we've got Dele, we've got Lucas, and we've got probably other people, but
And me, Jason.
but my view doesn't allow me to see them. Do you guys, before I come to you, do you guys online have got any views about, would a game about Palestine help the freedom cause? Do we know enough about the conflict? Is it relevant? Is it weather dependent? You know, whether we consider heavy news on the, you know, in the world. Okay, okay, cool. So just switch.
Yeah, Baba.
All right. So people online, do you have any views on this before we go to Bob, Jason, and no, you're Bob.
I forgot my name.
No, Dennis is over there.
My real name is Musa.
Musa, Bob, Jason. Okay, I'm going to pause you guys for a second. Online audience, any views?
It's a world of war and misery, and the powerful nations are trying to intervene so to gain more power.
I agree.
You agree. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. That's it about it.
I agree.
Thank you. So it's a power thing that kind of maybe went a bit too far. It's kind of manifesting itself in a kind of an armed conflict, or is it a conflict? I don't know. I'm just saying a word here, but me as a person in the middle, I don't have any views. I'm just merely making the conversation smooth. But yeah, so I'm going to come to you, Bob. Because you wanted to say something earlier. We were talking about Palestine, we were talking about the computer games. What were you going to say? And speak to the mic, by the way, Bob.
Speak to the mic, fam.
Is it just about the power, like Dele is saying?
No, I know what you said. I remember.
Okay, Jason.
People get sent to the gulag every single day.
Okay, we're talking about gulags.
I want to talk about gulag.
And how they update.
Okay, yeah.
A gulag is when you die and then come back to life and then die and then come back to life. You know what I'm saying? Sheesh!
Right, so we've got conversation about gulags. I mean, do other people have other definitions of gulag? Is this what it is?
You know when you die, you're buried. But in video games, obviously, that's not the case.
Okay, so our gulags.
So people update.
You come back to life.
So,
okay,
the old
gentlemen, one
gulag,
person at the time.
the old gulag was a swimming pool. I don't know why they died in pools. Mad at it. Anyway,
My guy.
Anyway, now they updated it to Nuketown.
I love
your
Nuketown.
cousin works at Nuketown.
Okay, so I'm going to kind of spread it out to other people. Hello, we've got a new face around the table. My name is Margot. What is your name?
Hello, Cruz.
What's your name? Cruz. Cruz. Cruz, you can speak to this microphone.
All I can say is I am ashamed.
I like the gulag.
All right, gentlemen, one thing at a time. So we're talking about gulags. Is representation of history and different events in computer games the same as
I want to talk about
online?
pandas.
I mean,
I don't think we're going to pander to that.
No. Pandas as in people are killing pandas and then using the skin.
So we've got a conversation about pandas and using their skin. We've got the Palestine. We've got the computer games.
Yeah, bubbles.
And actually trying to understand what a gulag is. And that goes to you guys as well. We've got a point from Lewis and then from Mikey. I'm going to come to you.
I just want to pick up on Mikey's point about pandas. It's a very difficult subject. It's not always black and white.
You know, pandas are sent to the gulag every day.
Pandas,
and they never
is it clear cut? Is it black
alive.
and white? Mikey, I'm going to come to you.
Pandas are now pink.
No, I just want to know where this kind of where the gulag thing comes from, because I'm
gulag basically comes from Warzone, and if you die, you go to the gulag, and they give you a gun.
So it's a computer. It's a computer game.
And it goes.
It's a computer game called Warzone, and you go. I think that's interesting because it's bringing in history. The history of the gulag.
So should I explain?
So if you don't let me explain.
Yeah.
So should I explain the Warzone?
Yeah, go on, Jason. You explain.
So in the beginning of Warzone, before all of this new game came out, some guy called Makarov and Captain Price, they were in war, and then like Captain Price obviously killed Makarov, and now I don't know what's happening. An airstrike came from space. Tony Stark's in it. I don't know how. Thing knows. Dennis knows.
No, basically, now let me just explain the easy part. When you die, you go to a gulag. The game gives you a gun. Another guy, if he died in the game, you like verse him, and then if you win, then you respawn and then go. If you die, you die. and it's the end.
So the death, hello,
You're
welcome. You can join the Talkaoke as well if you like.
You're
We're talking
done.
about dying, talking about gulags, talking about computer games, but also we're talking about pandas. It's not a black and white subject
heard about
with
the
pandas. And also
No,
talking
they're
about
pink.
weather. That's how we're starting. We're
Pandas
gonna,
are pink.
gentlemen, maybe turn the mics.
I tell you what, my favourite part of this conversation is this possibility, because a lot of people are really upset about what's happening in Palestine.
Can you tell us your theory?
My theory about what?
Palestine.
What? I mean, I think it's land. It's just about
No one
people.
asked.
It's about people
Gentlemen,
grabbing
1
land.
second.
It's about people taking over other people's land. Simple.
Okay,
Israel, yeah.
So
Free Palestine.
Palestinian conflict is actually very, very simple. It is about Israel grabbing the land from Palestinians, says Mikey. I mean, is it as simple as that? And that goes out to people online as well. I don't know if you've been kind of following the news. I mean, anyone else, of course, if you've got views about Palestine. Anything from you, Raish? Anything?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
tell
been
us.
on the march and I seen there was a lot of people. They were angry about it. So they walked down the road from Marble Arch
Yeah.
towards the what you
No
call
one
it?
asked. Shut up.
Towards the embassy, really.
Right. Yeah.
And they were just screaming, "Free Palestine! Free Palestine!
Yeah.
Free Palestine!" And the police were there, and it was really crowded, and they were protesting
Yeah.
against the things that the Israelis has done,
Guys.
the crime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you kind of joined the protest. I mean,
Yeah,
is
yeah.
joining protests? Oh,
Nice
by
beat.
the way, we've got a new face around the table. I can see your name is Paul, but Paul, welcome. Just to bring you up to speed, right now, Raish was saying to us about the time he recently went to, and also George, welcome, George. Maybe I'll just wait for George to join us before I do a recap. Welcome, George. Welcome, Paul. We've got Rehan. We've got Dele. We've got Lucas online, and we
got
also
Jason.
got Sass,
Shaboy.
Dennis, Jason, Bob, and Musa. We also have Raish, Lewis,
You missed
Laura,
Dennis. Who is this?
and Mikey. So that's what's happening. So just to give you guys a quick recap, we have been talking about Palestine. We were talking about, Raish was telling us about going to a protest. And also Mikey saying, actually Palestinian conflict is very simple. It is about Israelis.
My point was, I like the idea of making a computer game about Palestine.
Right, we were talking
'Cause
about computer
maybe you
games.
would
We
find
did
the
not
answer.
say that, bro.
If Palestine gets
And
the chance
also-
to hold an AK-47, Israel will pee their pants very badly.
Okay, so talking about creating maybe a computer game about Palestine, just to kind of get to the bottom of it and see how that could pan out if there were more agents involved in it, perhaps. We're talking about weather,
Whose
and
side are you
maybe
on?
good weather, increasing literacy and people reading. Any views from the new faces around the table? Give us a sound check first of all. Well,
I have
let's-
a question for Dele.
Hey George, we can hear you. And Paul, can we get a sound check from you? Oh, also, sorry, I forgot. We've got Cruz there as well. She's joining us as well.
Can you hear me? Yes, no?
Sorry. And Paul,
For Allah.
can you give us a sound check?
Hello, can you hear me?
We can, very faintly, but we can hear you. Welcome. We're going live onto Facebook. So this is where we're at. And we've got a new face over here. Just grab this microphone, new person. Tell us your name, first of all.
Hello everyone, my name's Reese.
Hello,
Welcome,
Welcome, Larice. So this is where we're at. This is Talkaoke. Of course, it depends on you where we take this conversation. So would a game of Palestine or about Palestine be a hit or would it be a flop?
Flop.
Tell us what you think about it. Can a computer game be a good way of learning about history and understanding conflicts? And do protests work? Have you been on protests lately? Paul says on the chat that it's a great idea. And Ryan, you've got your raised hand. So give him a round of applause as the first person from online world speaking to us. So
Why they fake clap?
let's hear
Just to
from
make
you.
someone happy, innit? Like, no.
I mean, obviously, the idea of a game that's developed with the conflict that's happening between Israel and Palestine, I'm really
I agree.
with the idea. Mainly
So
because
that pink
of the fact that
pandas.
I believe it will
I agree.
raise awareness.
Can I add on to Rick?
Sorry, Ryan. Sorry, guys. Just like I explained, Ryan has not been speaking, and he's speaking now. So please let him speak. You had your moment. Thank you. Sorry, Ryan. Please carry on.
Yeah, mainly due to the fact that
We can't hear you now. Sorry. Sorry, it's technology all over the shop. Try again.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Go ahead. Take it away.
Yeah, mainly due to the fact that it will help raise awareness of what's happening between Israel and Palestine, and also through majority of games. I mean, when I was growing up, a lot of the games were based on storytelling, so a lot of stories can be told.
Okay, so maybe you're saying a Palestinian game would actually help making people understand the conflict, but also games, maybe back in the day, they were a bit more about storytelling. So are we kind of telling the stories enough through the games? Is it about something different these days? These are all the kind of points there. I mean, do we think here around the table, like a game about Palestine, would that take off? Would you play it? And so what would be the rules? And also anybody online, please feel free to raise your hand, and then I will know that you want to speak. I mean, are you guys online? Do you play games? Is that your thing? Yeah, Musa, just 1 second. I'll just check if anyone's online wants to speak. Okay, I'm going to go to Musa. So Musa, you play games, yeah?
Yes, I do.
What kind of games? I mean, do you agree that maybe these days the games aren't about storytelling as much as they used to be? Are they about storytelling in your view?
No.
What is the kind of core thing about games that kind of keeps them
Because you can kill people.
You kill people?
Yeah, and like you don't get arrested, but in real life you get arrested for that. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, so I mean, is that something that should change? Should we change the laws?
Don't change that.
Okay, why wouldn't we want to change the laws? I mean,
because I like killing people in games. It's fun.
Okay, killing people in games is fun.
Obviously not in real life. Yeah, like I've not killed anyone in it.
Okay,
yeah,
right.
Definitely.
So could we make games about other things as well?
No, don't.
Yeah. Okay, Jason, I'm going to come over to you.
You can. One theory I have is pink pandas eating pink grass, eating pink bamboo.
I've played Pink Panda actually.
And they should make a game. Tell Epic Games, the one that made Fortnite. Yeah.
Okay, so
add pandas to the game so you can milk them.
So should we add more pandas into the game?
And you should add pink pandas to Warzone. What's that noise? I think we're getting invaded.
Okay, so
no one not come back, Jason.
So is it about maybe changing the characters in the? That is not my heart.
I thought we were getting invaded.
I don't have a heart.
Why are you saying that?
Right. So
alien detected.
So to summarize what you've been saying, and let me just do that quickly before we move on. So, can introducing different semi-fictional characters into games, would that make them more appealing? Can we tell stories kind of moving away from the kind of human aspect?
Can we name the video?
Can we kind of do things differently? I mean, so these are some of the questions.
I would love the video to be named the
What
Gulag.
about other people online? I mean, do any of these subjects kind of stick with you? Oh, we've got a new face around the table as well. David, welcome. Welcome, David. So I feel like the online audience is a little bit neglected, so you can kind of see what we're doing here. There's been an accident there, but luckily Bob is scooting away. He's fine. So anything from you guys about this conversation about what Ryan was saying, actually making a computer game about Palestine would be a good thing. It would help maybe even relaying some of the historical facts. Is that, yeah.
Yeah.
Can I hear from these guys? Yes. Who was this speaking? Dele, come on in.
Yeah, I just want to say, if such films are to be created, the premise should be made to be positive and not just all the negatives all the time and killing and shooting. You should create characters that will empathize with the society and a character that will, what's the word I'm looking for? A sort of conflict resolution in film games making, which is missing at the moment. I don't play games, but my son does play games when he was younger. So I know what sort of things he gets up to. So more positivity, a place will be fine.
Okay, so maybe if we change the premise of the game, and I'm going to come straight to you, Paul, as well. Maybe if we change the premise of the game and make it about something like conflict resolution, maybe that's a good idea for a computer game. Paul, I'm going to go straight to you.
Hello, can you hear me now? Better?
We can hear you better, yes. Not as subtle and nice and loud and clear. Welcome, Paul.
Okay, groovy. Okay, so what it is, I had two thoughts when you mentioned this. I thought it reminds me of like a resource-driven strategy thing where if you presented the situation in terms of resources and who's got what, it presents the situation very well. And then you've got things like civilization, which is a game about about resources and about how things work and about how politics work a little bit as well. It would present it in a larger sense about what goes on. There'd be skirmishes and fights and all the rest of it, but it is not up close and personal. It would describe things in a narrative. It would show it, and you would be able to actually do a historical representation even. Oh yeah, it's a great idea, but I think the problem is that it may need something like that to actually present it in a different way, and it shouldn't be like reducing it to some simple things. I think that's the only issue with it. It could be a little bit seen as a bit simplistic.
Okay.
Quite a complex situation.
Okay, so if you are going to make a game about a current political situation, a conflict, a war, maybe focus on who's got resources versus who doesn't have resources. Maybe that will give us an insight into like the depth of what's going on. Don't skim around the surfaces. But also, do you think we could learn something about pandas through these kinds of games? I mean, could these games kind of help us understand animals a bit more as well, and the systems that they kind of live by? Do they live by any systems is another question. But yeah, what about this idea of like conflict resolution? Can we have a game kind of based on how to resolve a conflict of everybody wants to be on the mic right now on some of the tables? Could we gamify it? Could we make it interactive and constructive? So these are just some of the tables on the subject, subjects on the table, of course. So yeah, this is where we are at, and this is Talkaoke, of course, and the subjects depend on the direction that you want to take it. And this is the point where I'm kind of invite everyone to maybe inject some of the thoughts that they have already about other subjects.
Can I talk about another subject?
Weave them together. So if there's anything else that people want to talk about we haven't touched on, please let me know. I'm going to come to you, Bob, shortly, right here. But I'm going to give a chance to some of the quieter people online.
Hello.
Anything that you guys kind of woke up this morning and thought about and you want to throw it out there?
Yeah.
It can be on behalf of your friend. It doesn't actually have to be on your own behalf. We've got a point from Dennis. Dennis? Oh, Adele, I'm going to come to you straight after.
I forgot.
Okay, I'm going to go straight to Adele.
I think the impact of the lockdown is enough. It's a very strange but very beautiful one. And I think we should talk more about that, because we've been in lockdown situation for a year, and we need to see ourselves as different people who want to progress in life. So about the impact of the lockdown on us, please, maybe.
Okay, so we've got impact of lockdown. It's been over a year. Do we actually know how it impacted individuals, or do we have like a bit of a kind of broader idea? Do we still want to talk about COVID and lockdown? How has it been for people? Have you kind of learned new games, new strategies? Yeah, go on.
Have you been playing a lot of games over lockdown? So we can connect the two things together.
And has that impacted you?
Oh, yes, Ben.
Okay.
So
who wants
I've
to
been
speak?
playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4, and I think that's a very great game. It encourages young people, like 4-year-olds, kill people. It's that.
Okay. So games.
You use the same editing thing 4 times. I think it's getting,
okay. And
it's getting a bit boring.
And what do you think about that? I mean, these types of.
I think it's great, to be honest. It encourages people to help Palestine kill those Israelis.
Okay, we're gonna thank you for this, Bob and Musa.
I like Warzone too. Like Jason, me and him play together all the time and kill people. Like you know what I'm saying? Me and Jason's best friends.
All right, so you've kind of formed a team, and do you feel like this kind of game playing is that your experience of lockdown? I mean, how game playing has influenced how you are now?
Yeah, it's changed my like behavior at home.
Yeah.
So like, I always try to kill my mom sometimes. I put my Glock out, and she was just trying to I just shoot her, innit? She changed my behavior.
Okay, so kind of.
I'm not joking. I'm taking this full on serious. I'm not laughing.
Yeah, no. Okay. So pretending to be shooting at your parents is something that is kind of happened in the lockdown. I mean,
I want the first to come so I can steal their gun and shoot them too.
I mean, I want to kind of spread it out. Hello, people in the car. We're doing a pop-up talk show. Hello. If you park, and I hope you do, you can come and join us. So this is kind of where we're at. I mean, Larice, did you have a point? You may have not. I may have just like over.
Yeah, I love games.
Okay. What's your favorite game, Larice? We've got a point from Larice.
Of all time, probably Zelda.
Zelda. Can you tell us a little bit more about this game?
It's a game about this guy who needs to save a princess. Yeah.
Okay. So saving the princess versus maybe shooting games. I mean, have you played these types of games, and what kind of keeps you playing?
That's a good question. I don't really play shooting games as much.
Right.
More open world games. I like The Sims as well. So yeah.
The Sims. Okay. So I mean, what is it? I mean, is it about a personality trait, interest? What is it about people kind of being drawn to different games? Like what is it? I mean, would you be interested in playing Sims or something like this?
Can I tell you my opinion on Sims?
Yeah, go ahead. Tell me your opinion about Sims.
A couple of days ago, I downloaded Sims Mobile. They had the crappiest skins. Like the whole point of Sims is to show how real life works.
Okay.
But it's not like real life. They had 4 options of torsos, 2 options of pants, and 1 option of hat.
Okay.
How can this work?
Limiting.
Do you know dogs? Their droppings. That's
dogs.
what Sim is.
Right. Okay. So here's the kind of. I'm going to bounce a question from what you just said. Is technology a bit too limiting? Rian, you were saying earlier about storytelling and the technology. I feel like the technology is kind of developing, but is it developing enough for us to really fully get immersed in those stories? And we've got a person over there who's talking about dogs. There's a dog over there.
You just took his food.
You can come and join us if you wish.
Give it back.
And Sims on the mobile, I mean, maybe not as effective. I mean, what about you, Raish? I mean, are there any kind of games that you are playing or would like to play? What would you be
Mario.
interested in? 1 second. And that goes out to people online as well. Just let us know what you think. Are you more of a Sims person or more of a Fortnite person? Let us know. But Raish,
no, for me, it's just Assassin's Creed.
Say that again?
Assassin's Creed, Black Flag.
Okay.
It's like a story tale.